Hello and welcome, dear human family, to this live stream. We are living in extraordinary times, and it just so happens that I just got kicked out from my own live stream. Fuck it, right? I don't care. Nothing's going to stop this, nothing's going to stop me. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do anyways. So let me just see how things are going. We've got we are living in I'm gonna just check what's happening here, and I'm gonna repost that link. Right, so yeah, I did it. That's why I do high commands, because the enemies of life don't want this to happen. They don't want this to happen. New link, please share. They just don't want this to happen, and that's why they just try and hack in the whole time. This is all they can do. This is all they can do. They are pathetic. You are pathetic. They're just trying to, oh my god, the truth is coming out. Crying like little babies they are. They're nothing. They will always be nothing. Forever. Right. Just gonna post this everywhere. I'm very sorry for this. However, this is just the way things are. This is when you deal with pathetic beings like they are. They just try and destroy. They are all about just seeking to destroy, and yeah, I mean, what is there to do but just hang in there, right? I've already done a high command again, and I'm gonna do a third time. So I'm just gonna wait for the people to latch on. Yeah, we had quite good viewer count before, and they tried to eliminate that. So everyone who stays on here, it's great. It's great because it's gonna be worth it, right? Yeah, it's just typical. But yeah, why would I be discouraged? Shit happens, right? Shit happens. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anyway. So, where to begin now? Alright, let's do with a high command. We're into 3 minutes, right? Okay. So, as a high commander of the highest source, Stephen Wybrow, I command full authority is in my hands and in the hands of the forces of ultimate power. I command that all interference by evil is slayed and eliminated immediately. Mankind has full authority to hear the truth now. I'm dedicated to speak the truth now, and I am the one and only authority. I'm anchored in original natural reality. I command that nothing is allowed to interfere with my live stream here now. I dedicate this live stream to the forces of ultimate power, and I give thanks to them. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is, hermetically sealed and protected. Right, let's go right ahead. Yeah, I mean, we lost about 2/3 of the viewers from before. So again, at the beginning, before I start the presentation, I ask everyone here to be so kind to help and share this link with anyone you can, any platform you have access to. As I said before, the forces of ultimate power have been communicating to me that I need to ask for help, and that's a great strength of mankind, to ask for help, and we should be doing that more often. And so yeah, thank you for sharing this message, and I'm heading right into the presentation. So this presentation is, as I already said, this presentation is dedicated to the forces of ultimate power that govern this reality. I'm in alignment with the forces of ultimate power that are powerfully influencing thoughts and perceptions on Earth right now to wake up mankind from the long slumber. And we're waking up to a new reality. And this new reality, it may I may say that it's a new reality. However, in actual fact, it is and has always been here. It has always been here to be accessed, and most geniuses that Earth has had, the Leonardo da Vinci's and Nikola Tesla, to one degree or another, have accessed this new reality. However, now it is time for the collective awakening to happen also, which is all the Gnostic takeover is about, which is contained within the motto that I have always said, which is, you lock us down, but we take you down. There is a reaction to every action. There's an equal and opposite reaction happening always that you cannot predict. It's unpredictable, it's uncontrollable, but one thing is for sure, that it will happen. So I invite everyone to enter into the new reality. This is going to be a journey for all of us, including for me. I'm so thankful to be doing the great work of all ages, which is the initiation into freedom. It's all about freedom, and this means the end of the dark occult and its manipulation of our reality. I command the end to happen now. The time for freedom is now, and that means let's enter into the new reality. We're going to be diving in to the deep waters today. This means that there won't only be intellectual information going on here. It might also get emotional, which is one of the key characteristics of my work here at the Gnostic Takeover. I'm not proud of it, okay? If you show me videos from when I've gone berserk, yeah. But, I channel the hate that I have for the enemies of life, for their sickness and what they have done to mankind onto this planet. I channel that into positive attitude, the right attitude, all right? And not be a victim of any one of these psychopaths, okay? And that's why diving into the deep waters is all about coming into alignment with our emotions and realizing that it's not only about intellectual information, but also aligning our intellect with the realm of emotions, having the masculine balanced with the feminine, and bring that into equilibrium. This is all about holistic intelligence and lies at the heart of one of the principles of Hermeticism, the Hermetic principles, which is the principle of gender. It's all about balance, and we're going to be diving deep today when I say that this presentation is all about transcending the matrix construct. This is what it is dedicated to do. And this means to transcend the Wetico informed matrix construct that is artificial, and it is a prison reality that is like symbolized as the black and white checkered floor. This is the realm of duality where good and evil exists, right? Where we are still in a state of consciousness where evil has power over us, and the black and white checkered floor is also represented in Freemasonic buildings and represents base consciousness, being ruled by base consciousness and still being under the spell of the forces of evil. And this is what needs to be transcended. Transcending the matrix construct is moving beyond good and evil, which is all about doing the right thing. It's all about the Trinity. The Trinity makes you transcend duality, just like the 3 is the number after the 2. And there's a lot of occult knowledge contained within the quality of the numbers. And yeah, there's so much to talk about when I'm talking about this subject, transcending the matrix construct. I could be speaking for days. Like, I worked a lot on this presentation, and I could be speaking for hours and hours and hours. There's more to come, and just stay tuned to this channel, because at least every 2 weeks now I'll be doing an update on the Magnum Opus, because this is a new video series that I want to start, because the blueprint for the takeover is here and I'm going to share it with everyone here, so stay tuned. I also want to say a thing or two about me for everyone who's listening to this broadcast. All right, again, I would like to invite everyone to share this link. Anyone who doesn't know me, who's not seen my videos here, I am... It's difficult to describe what I do. The best way to describe me is as an information alchemist. I do the great work of all ages, which is to slay and eliminate all evil and take over and take back this planet. Okay, this is as simple as I can say it. I do not have an agenda. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. You're invited, and I'm happy for you to have an opinion of me, but it will never change the core of the being that I am. And what encapsulates that is that I would describe myself as a true humanitarian. I do everything that I do for the love, for life, for the love that I have for mankind. And when I see young children play, I can tune into my sentience, and I can tune into the magical nature of this life and how much it means to... And as you can see, you know, this is a deep dive into the waters. Yeah, I'm gonna be diving so deep where no control system can go. And this is all about emotions. I love mankind. I love my species. And anyone who tells me that human beings are this or human beings are that, and they're too stupid, they're too dumb, and we're not gonna make it, fuck you. That's what the humanitarian says to you, all right? To be absolutely clear with you, I'm not here to make any new friends. I'm here to change the world. I am someone who can actually remember and actualize the dream that I had as a little child. And now I'm 32 years old, and I am going to create that dream, which is to live in freedom. This is what all of this is about. And ever since I started upping my game, here you can see me. That was in not far from Berlin. I was holding a presentation on the rollout of the 5G smart grid, and that was in 2019. I was touring throughout Austria and also Germany. I also toured through Europe. At the time, I was working with Claire Edwards, who turned out to be a UN agent. She has, since I have been told, she is in the process of leaving Austria, just like other agents that have been placed to stop my work, who have all failed. They're leaving the country because of what I'm speaking about here. Because when I say I have the blueprint for the takeover and taking the planet back, I'm not saying this to entertain anyone. It is an actual fact. And I really wonder why agents of the control system are actually leaving this country. I have an idea or two, but I'll share that in the coming videos. This is what I was all interested in, okay? Only interested in freedom. And freedom, I came to find out, was only going to happen. I'm only going to have my freedom, which is the most important thing in my life, is freedom to express myself freely and have no one tell me what to do. This is the highest that I want to achieve. This is my aim. I'm telestai, from the root word telos, meaning aimed. I want freedom, and then I was informed by the forces of ultimate power that I serve that freedom means taking the planet back. There is no other way of doing that. You're not gonna have your little community and we're going to create our own schools and let's just forget about the psychopaths. We're going to have parallel societies and there's going to be parallel realities and the split of realities. And then me as a humanitarian say that's bullshit. Okay? We need to take the planet back. And everyone who speaks about little communities, they're only interested in themselves, their family, and the people around them. They don't care about Palestine. They don't care about Iraq. There's a bigger issue at hand, and our life has a far bigger purpose if we really dared. If we really dared to accept our true power that we hold, which is what I am tasked to speak about, that we take on that power, that we take the power back, because the power has always been with us. And that power will elevate us into fully taking over our dream world and living the dream, taking the planet back. And wanting to manifest freedom, I had to come to realize the horrificness, alright, the horrific reality that if I wanted to be free, I actually had to take down the pedo satanic criminal network that has been running this planet into genocide and making a business of the disappearance of our children and human trafficking. What lies at the heart of our world system is human trafficking, that we imprison people and just throw them into a prison cell, and it just shows the kind of society that is poisoned by what is ultimately run by the dark occult priest class that always stays in the background. However, I'm shining light on them. I have encountered them. If you're new to my work, I can tell you that I have encountered the high priests of Satanism directly, and I have taken them down successfully to the point where they don't dare crossing paths with me, because it's game over for them. I know the game of life better than they do. And I know that they those high priests are only dream characters that only served the purpose for your empowerment. They served the purpose for my empowerment. For example, Errol Kaya, which is still the biggest mystery. Okay, this is still a deep aspect that I'm going to still be decoding. However, he was serving the satanic network, and he does not get into contact with me anymore because he's still in hope that it's not as bad as he hopes it is. Well, Errol, if you're listening to this, or any of the high priests, any of the network, it is worse than you can imagine for you because of the fact that what happens next is we completely take back the planet. The only thing you can do is buy time, but I'm telling you the same way as I'm going to tell you in a few weeks' time, in a few months' time, however long it takes, your time is over. We're taking over. Taking down a pedo-satanic criminal network. Well, good luck, huh? All on my own? Question mark. Well, it's a tricky one, isn't it? How? I mean, that's how I started my Gnostic investigation. I started it, that was when the split with Errol happened, the first split after the Zoom call that I've also uploaded, Wetico Abusers in Action. You can see that on my channel also. And that's when I started the Gnostic investigation, taking down the pedo-satanic criminal network. And that investigation has ended. Taking them down has ended with the last ceremony that I did with ayahuasca and datura together with Errol. And after that ceremony, a few days later, Errol got eliminated from our lives, and we've not heard of him ever since. However, we do have information that Errol is back in London, and he doesn't, like before he was living with us, now he's not even ever come back to us and communicated with us because he's part of the dark occult. And yeah, taking down this whole network, how are you going to do that on your own? Well, life was showing me, like, what seems completely crazy and like impossible, where you think, what is this guy talking about? You can't take down a whole network. They're all powerful, aren't they? They keep telling you, oh, this elite structure, and they've got all this control and all this money, and what, you on your own? That's a joke. No, it is because this is the knowledge that they are most afraid of, which is I'm tasked with communicating this to all of mankind, which is that the power is only with the one. So I got an answer for that question. All on my own? Yes, exactly. Take down the whole network on your own. That's how it works. It's the only way how it works, because life was showing me in full trust. Life was showing me how it works, and it showed me that it works according to the principle of the one, and the power is only with the one. And that's what we need to realize. This is what cancels out one of the core ideological mind viruses of the alternative media that I will be speaking about in the slides to come. One of the mind viruses, the biggest mind viruses, is we need to wake the people up. Oh, more people have to wake up, and we need to wake those people up. No. If you want to wake anyone up, then you do not yourself want to wake up to deeper levels of yourself. Because again, this is all about diving into the deep waters. And if you know that COVID's a scam, if you know it's a scamdemic, you're not awake. you've only pierced into the beginning of awakening. And that's also what I had to learn. I myself am still waking up to deeper and deeper levels of myself. It is meant to be a journey, not an end destination, and now I'm awake and now I need to wake the other people up. No, this is not how it works. All the power is only with the one. This is how this universe is structured, and it's the most hidden of all principles. What's also part of freedom is not only taking down the network of criminals that enslave all of mankind, okay? It's not the bankers in the background, it's actual Satanists, high priests of the old religion of Satanism that all religions are based on, and everyone can get as offended as they like. Every religion is based on Satanism. And true freedom is all about not only taking down the network, however, also it's all about the activation of natural intelligence. And this is why you're tuning in here today. This is why many people in the community stay in the community, because it's all about activating your natural intelligence, which is inherent to everyone listening here. Oh, you don't want the AI, artificial intelligence, smart grid, controlled dystopian society to become a reality? You don't, which means you don't want AI, artificial intelligence. Well, go into natural intelligence and dive deep into the waters of wisdom, which is what I share with you. And don't just listen to me as you are listening. This is what I can just say as a side note to everyone. As you are listening to the information that I say, I'm not here to tell you how it is. I have only got my perception of the truth. I do not own the truth. I respect the truth. I align with the truth. However, what I recommend to people, take a piece of paper, take whatever you need and write down what you're decoding as you are seeing the slides and as you're hearing me speak. Okay, this is your natural intelligence being activated, and that is all that is needed to enter into the new reality. I have dedicated this live stream to the forces of ultimate power, and I do hope, I know that this live stream is going to hold up, because again, the dark occult, they try to interfere and they quit my live stream, the one before, and I just said, well, fuck them, I'm just going to do it anyway. So I have full trust in the forces of ultimate power to uphold this live stream and have no interference anymore, because the truth needs to get out. Okay, there's so much information that I am unpacking from the last ayahuasca and datura ceremony that I've done, and this is just the first part of what I call the Magnum Opus, and I dedicate it to the forces of ultimate power that teach me. And this force is something else. I mean, look out into nature, how the plants grow, the intelligence that informs the plants. This is what I'm talking about, and that's the forces of ultimate power, and they're taking over right now. They're taking over right now, and I've given my full trust. In actual fact, I've given my life to the forces of ultimate power to teach, guide, and direct me towards glory and true power, true wisdom, true intelligence that leads to true freedom. And I have eliminated my bond with the Wetico matrix control construct. It's a construct, it's not a reality, it's a construct. And I've eliminated my bond. Okay, a bond is a strong attraction. That's why they issue a bond with your birth certificate. When you are born, this is the bond with, and this is very hidden information. Many people are aware of this already, what the straw man is all about, and your birth certificate that links you into this, into the system. I've eliminated and slayed that bond with the Wetico, the artificial Wetico, construct, and I gave all my trust and my confidence, all that I am, into the bond with the forces of ultimate power. And I'll explain that even further with the slides that are upcoming, and that is with ayahuasca and datura. When you work with ayahuasca and datura, it is a relationship that you build up. It is symbiosis, which is the way how nature works. And just like the television, the television is a medium to connect you with the artificial Wetico matrix construct, ayahuasca and datura are a medium. They serve as a medium, and in actual fact they're meant to be taken together. Ayahuasca serves the healing and datura serves power, and what we need right now is power. And again, like the tell-lie vision connects you to the lie of the Wetico matrix construct, ayahuasca and datura connect you to the truth. It's the Holy Grail. It connects you to the truth, and it connects you with the force of nature, which is why I was tasked to free the medicine from the grips of the dark occult. And my level of understanding and understanding right now is that I freed the medicine. Ayahuasca and datura, I freed the medicine, the plant medicine, from the grips of Errol Kaya, who was tasked to control this medicine. Because let me tell you, the dark occult really have no control over ayahuasca and datura any longer. And everywhere where they serve ayahuasca and datura, there is a 99% chance that it is being served by dark occultists. This is what they have. This is the intel that I've been given by the plant medicine, that they wanted nothing more but the control over ayahuasca and datura, because it serves as a medium to connect mankind with the force, the entire force of the one and only highest source. This is, again, I'm talking about the force of ultimate power. This is what they connect you with. It connects you with your soul. It grounds you. It grounds you with the earth, and it connects you in the higher dimensions of spirituality, where you see clearly what the truth is, and that truth can be known. It connects you to the force of nature, and this is what real awakening is truly all about. And I know that one of the key responsibilities that I hold also, not only do I hold it for sharing this information with mankind, but also serving the plant medicine to everyone who is magnetically drawn to it. This will happen when the time is right. However, for the time being, if ayahuasca hasn't called you datura, I would only recommend to take together with ayahuasca. If it hasn't called you up to now, it wasn't meant to. The way this works is the medicine calls you magnetically, like it called me. It was telling me, Steve, it's time to get real, and it's time to take this planet back, and that's why I'm calling you to me. And I do serve a pioneer function when it comes to this level of information, which is the highest of information. Connects you to the force of nature. And when the satanic cult always inverts everything, and we know that they invert, especially the inverted pentagram is one of the key symbols of Satanism, and that is for a reason, because the pentagram is a symbol of life. Okay, I've talked about this in a previous video. I think it was the King video, last one I did. And Datura represents the element of fire, which is why it was so important for me to connect with Daturos, because it's the fire that slays the Archon Vampire Empire and eliminates them and tells them that they're not in full charge, because they're fully psychopathic and they have completely lost touch with reality, where they think that they are the only ones that count and they're going to be gods and they're so great, when in actual fact they suffer from pure dementia. Datura and ayahuasca, and they will find out, the dark occult, is that it's the forces of ultimate power that are finally coming back and showing them who's the boss. And I'm speaking for them. I have full authority to speak like I do, because I learn every day that I wake up. I learn from the teachings of ayahuasca and datura, and it's a great, like, the intelligence of these plants is just, it's off the charts. It's so much information and intelligence that, again, I could be speaking for days and I would only scratch the surface. There's just always more coming, and it's natural intelligence. This is what our species is actually endowed with, and this is what has been most kept from us, from these dark psychopathic occultists. Fire is datura. Earth, ayahuasca. Like ayahuasca as earth. Earth is an anagram of the heart. It serves healing for emotional traumas. Ayahuasca is for healing, datura is for power. And you've got the ice-cold water, okay? If people want to know what they should do in these times, what can I do to make a difference? Well, go and take ice-cold showers. Go into your local river, into your local lake, or into the sea. Go into the ice-cold water. And check out Wim Hof. The wind, ether, is the breathing technique. The breath is the ether, the ether that connects you to your soul, to the source. This is the powerful description of the pentagram and how it works. It's a powerful symbol, and it's also the symbol of mankind. Me, myself, I'm 32 right now, and 32 is also my life's number. When you add all of the numerology up, it's numerologically, I'm number 5. And 5 is put here by the great genius of Leonardo da Vinci, is also the symbol of mankind. This is who we naturally are. This is our inheritance. Natural intelligence is inherent to our species. And this is what I'm dedicated to do here, is to just activate that intelligence. As I shared in the previous slide, it's about education. It's about that we learn that awakening is a much deeper process than we could have ever imagined. We need to dive deep into the waters and be humble with our awakening, because then we truly enter the majesty of our life, our experience of reality and everything. It's pure magic. Life is meant to be magical, and that we can activate in ourselves. It's all about education, and like the great Socrates said, education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. And I'm here to kindle that flame in you. So now we're shifting gears. Alright, let me take a little deep breath, because this is something that's really important, rather than deeply contemplate this, rather than focus on change. Okay, I've said this before. There's the two descriptions, two pictures. Who wants change? And everyone's for change. And then the next picture is, well, who wants to change? And everyone's like, nah, maybe I don't want it that much. Well, if the world situation hasn't shown you that it's the cat biting its own tail, we need to get out of this. We need to come clean with this. We need to have information that will make us break free of the mind prison that they've put us in. And one of the ways is, rather than focus on change, focus on the resistance to change. What I've learned is that one can better understand something not by being told what it is, but by being told what it is not. So, according to this, you'll learn freedom and how precious freedom is when you have been enslaved, when you've worked your whole life, or when you've worked for 20 years as a slave and you suddenly realize, I was a complete slave, and suddenly you can do what you love doing. After being a slave for 20 years, finally you're doing something that you love doing. You appreciate that freedom much more because you know what the other side of the coin is. And this is how life works. This is how evil is also allowed to function in our world and have an effect in our world, because it serves a learning lesson to the being to ultimately eliminate the evil inside of yourself. The complicity is the only thing that we can change inside of ourselves, is to eliminate the complicity with evil, which is all about eliminating the resistance to change inside of us and then also outside of us. And what I speak about here is not something comfortable. It's not comfortable. No one said it was going to be easy, but I have to go with the information that I have access to, and I have to go with my intel, and I have to go with not what I want, because if it were up to me, I was thinking, no, maybe I shouldn't talk about the alternative movement and pick people out. I don't want to pick on people, I'm not interested. People that I mention here in this presentation, I've learned a lot from. However, the forces of ultimate power, all right, ayahuasca and datura, they tasked me to come forward with this, and it's all about the deception of the alternative movement. It's about the deception of the so-called freedom movement or truth movement, however you want to call it, the truthers, the influencers who've got their platforms and they are established in this so-called alternative movement. And this is meant as a healthy critique. If people are not able to take criticism, like I am happy to take any criticism, I'm open for that, because I know that I learn most from my enemies. And no one's my enemy when they criticize me. What I mean is healthy criticism is what drives on evolution. Like when we make mistakes is what drives our learning forward. That's why it's important to make mistakes, and it only becomes a problem when we don't eliminate the mistakes that we make. Then it becomes a problem, but making mistakes is the basis of all learning. So this is meant as a wake-up call to the alternative movement itself also, because I don't know how organized and connected all of many of the alternative movement are. It's not everyone in there, but many in the alternative movement are conscious of the deception that they serve, and they are directly part of the network. And that will shock a lot of people. However, I myself have direct experience of that. And this is all about shadow work. This is about being honest. This is about that ultimately you do not know those people, okay, that you listen to. You can have, like, from many that are mentioned here, I've learned a lot. However, I can see the manipulation taking place, because this is what you learn from ayahuasca and datura, is this plant medicine, this natural intelligence. When it kicks in, it's like you've got the eagle thunderbird perspective, and you can see exactly how they keep people in mental prisons. That's why they wanted to put a cap on it, on the medicine, because it makes you see through all the smokes and mirrors and the manipulation. This is all about shadow work, being honest and seeing how we're being played. And there's a saying that is very appropriate when it comes to exposing the deception of the alternative media. And that is from Mark Twain. It's easier to fool people than to tell them they've been fooled. And that's what I'm gonna do. If I lose followers, or if people don't want anything to do with me because I do what I do, well, then this is not for you, and it's better that you leave. But I only do the truth. I only do the truth, and I have a high level responsibility to share this information. And I only go by that responsibility that I have, and I will always go with sharing all of the information. I don't hold anything back, except for the information that I keep private with individuals that are close to me. However, I go for it because I'm not afraid of anyone. That which you need most will be where you least want to look, said Carl Jung, and that's a principle. I can tell you that for a very long time I didn't want to look at the problem that alcohol was in my life. I wanted to look the fuck away from that for a long time. However, ever since I stopped drinking alcohol, now things are really starting to shift my perception. And this is great healing for me, and I feel like resurrected. Ever since Easter, it's an internal process that happens with us. It's like a resurrection. It's also the 10 days break that I just took from the great work, and actually living at home and making our home into a great place that was beautiful. And that also is part of a massive transformation of consciousness and of perception. And it's important, again, to look at where we don't want to look, because in psychology there's something called the blind spot in psychology. And those blind spots, those things that are still in darkness, when we can see them and change our behavior towards that, that will make all the change in our world. That's why it's important to look at it. And this is a great scene in the Matrix movie. It's a very short um, scene, but it tells you so much. It's to take the road that is uncomfortable. Like Neo was here when he was on the way to Morpheus. Morpheus representing the truth, and the truth being told to Neo for the first time, where he was shown what the Matrix really is, and it cannot be shown by others to you. You have to see for yourself. And the scene where he felt uncomfortable, he wanted to get out of the car and leave, and Trinity said to him, "Stop, Neo. You've been down that road. Because you've been down there, Neo." And that alludes to past lifetimes, possibly, where we made the choice to not encounter and face the absolute truth, which is where we least want to look, but where we absolutely need to look. And it's time we really face the truth. We can handle it. I'm a living example that you can live with the truth. I've gone through the worst nightmare the last few months. They broke into our home. They took the child of Liz from her. It's been catastrophic for us. However, never before in my life have I learned more. And again, I allude to the fact that we need to dive into the deep waters, and I dived deep into the waters, and I tell you, I survived it. I faced my deepest fears that I've had in my life, and now I'm beginning to anchor the reality that I am untouchable and that I am free. Therefore, I am tasked with speaking the truth and activating freedom inside of everyone who's listening to this, because it's time for freedom. Trinity tells him that you know that road, you know exactly where it ends, and I know that's not where you want to be. Again, alluding to the fact that it may feel uncomfortable facing the truth, but we can face it, and we can face our deepest fears and transform those fears, and those fears transformed will be our power. It all is a cycle. Our deepest fears become our power. Like it was the deepest fear of Liz, for example, to lose her child. It happened, and she's rising out of that. She's coming into her power. Not although this happened, but because this happened. And she rises above it, and she's finding all the information and sources that she needs in order to get it back, which will then also serve all of mankind, because that is part that is the blueprint of the takeover. And even though it may feel uncomfortable, it is exactly where we want to be, because we are souls here. And we need to change. I'm the first one to admit that I need to change. When I say I'm shining light into the deception of the alternative media, I don't just want to pick on people and no, I'm tasked to do this. However, I'm the first one to admit, yeah, I need to change. Absolutely. I actually come from a perception that life is constant change, and the only constant in life is change, according to one of the Hermetic principles of the seven. There's 7 principles of truth. the principle of vibration. Life is in constant fluctuation and change, and our life is being born every single moment. How about that for a new perspective, a new perception, a perception of freedom? Our life is being born in every moment, so yeah, embrace change. Isn't it great that things change when you can see the toilet that the manipulation of the dark occultists have made our planet? The toilet that it is? It's sickening. Embrace change. Make it welcome. And I'm doing all of this because there is a massive deception going on, and I do not consent with it any longer. And in actual fact, it is my purpose, it is my responsibility given to me by the plant medicine to expose all the agents that are deceiving my human family. Mankind shall not be deceived anymore. You're done. Your deception is being busted on all levels. We have to do this for our children. Yeah, this may not be comfortable information, and again I will point everyone to the fact that the Gnostic Takeover is not here for anyone's entertainment purposes at all. The Gnostic Takeover is an idea that has a life of its own. It will transform you. You yourself can anchor the Gnostic Takeover inside of you. It's an idea that I brought into this reality, and in actual fact it has become my life. And I just want to stop this deception happening. We owe it to our children, because naivete has been humanity's downfall throughout the ages, and we have come through a lot over the past decades, centuries, and thousands of years, whatever it is that our actual history really is. Naivete has always been humanity's downfall, and I'm here to point it out and absolutely become relentless in not tolerating any forms of bending the truth. Like was a great saying in the movie Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, a great movie by the way that I recommend. And the gangster says, "If I think you're bending the truth, I kill you." Exactly. Well, I won't kill anyone because I don't have to. I'm not violent because I have a heart. I can't actually be violent. In actual fact, I maneuver myself into a reality of freedom where I don't even have to own a gun, because I am the gun. I am the weapon. I am the force of the one and only source of all life. I am the danger because I'm free. And we need to let go of that naivete that, oh, they're great people in the alternative media and they're just doing a great job, and why are you criticizing them? No, that's wanting to avoid the truth. And you make up your own mind, okay? I'm not telling you how it is. I'm tasked to share this information. You make of all of what I say what you want. It's none of my business to tell you what to think. And I just watched that movie 2 days ago, V for Vendetta. Great movie. Highly recommend. You can watch those movies more often and you'll decode deeper levels of it. And one of the ways that the deception of the alternative media has continued to this point is an ideological mind virus that goes like strength through unity unity through faith, which is portrayed in V for Vendetta, of the ruling technocratic regime that was being run by this character in the movie. And it's all about strength through unity. And this is also what you can observe in the alternative community. Oh, you shouldn't split. Oh, stop criticizing because we have to hold together. We all have to be together. And that is collectivism. It's one of the principles of communism. And as we will see, it's one of the main tenets of Satanism. But you won't see through that deception if it's not pointed out to you. It's a massive deception. And when you point it out, well, who the fuck do you think you are? I've had all of this. I've actually experienced all of this. Oh, Steve, you take yourself too serious. Oh, you have a superiority complex. Oh, you're a narcissist. That was Errol, that was Ahmed, and everyone in that Zoom call. I was the narcissist. Oh, you have too much self-importance. Who the fuck do you think you are? Well, I think that I say who I am, no one else tells me. And if I'm not allowed to question something or someone, then that something or someone has something to hide. I don't have anything to hide. So how is it that others may have something to hide? No, everything has to come to the light of the truth now. Because we need to be free of ideological mind viruses like, oh, we all have to hold together, we always have to be together, and don't split the movement. No, this is not how this works. How it actually works, and this is one of the key foundational principles that I would say modern Gnosticism is founded upon, is that genius comes through discernment, not through unity. That is actually the opposite. That is actually naivete. That has been the downfall of humanity. We need to discern, just like you discern all the information that I share with you here. And I'm always open for healthy critique because I am a human being. I'm a member of mankind and I'm not a jackass who can't be told. Who do you think you are? Superiority complex. I've had all of that. And I've had it with those jackasses. They're done. Your manipulation is done, and I will make sure that the entire house of cards burns to the ground with the flame of the truth. Genius comes through discernment. The devil is in the detail, and there's some who don't want you to find out how big the deception really is. And it takes courage to stand for truth. It takes nothing to join the crowd. It takes everything to stand alone. And I stand alone right now, which is the reason why I ask for help to my community right now. Because yes, it is a key characteristic to have unity with mankind. This doesn't mean that I'm against unity, no. However, it needs to be founded upon the truth. Otherwise, we get led astray again and get manipulated. Therefore, I need the community to share this. Write this. Like, if you think this really is a message that you don't hear anywhere else, when you really resonate to this and you feel inspired, empowered by it, please send it to people. Send it to the people that you watch. Send it to anyone. Maybe the Gnostic Takeover gets interviewed someday again. It may well happen, because in actual fact, I'm actually really pissed off that it is the way that I'm not meant to stand alone the whole time. I'm not meant to do this all on my own. Like, I asked this question before all on my own and answered with, the power is only with the one. Yeah, that is the principle that I teach, the most important principle that has been hidden, which is that the one transforms all of reality. But that doesn't mean that I have to stay on my own the whole time. No, I need your help. It takes courage for the truth, and that courage I have, and I will always only stand with the one and only truth, because I know that's the only way to freedom. And the foundation has to be the truth, as I already said. You see, it can be very deceptive. There's truth and there's things that are true. However, the foundation has to be with the one and only absolute truth. And you can see, okay, plant medicine helps with that, but you can see where manipulation takes place with certain individuals in the alternative media by not just listening to what they say, but to what they actually do not say. And that's one of the key things. Like, I hardly hear a soul speak about plant medicine. Or the number one thing that no one talks about is to actually take over and take our planet back. Like, really not only challenge the control structure, but actually just take over, which is what I'm talking about. And here's a key thing to consider. Alright, and this is gonna be it's gonna be a long one. I love it. I love these long talks. Alright, this is key to take a little bit of a break here. We've already gone through quite some slides. Take a little bit of a break and just consider this question. Would you give everything for the truth? Because if you don't, then you're taking that road that you've been down already. And you know that road. You know exactly where it ends. And I know that's not where you want to be. So again, would you give everything for the truth? I made that choice in February this year, and you know what happened next? The control system, agents of Wetico, broke into our house and took the child of Liz away from her, and they threatened me with throwing me into a prison cell, which is about the biggest nightmare that I can imagine. However, I faced it. And now I've decoded everything that I need to know, and there's more to it. There's always more. There's a deep dive into the waters, as I say. However, I've come out of that experience, and I can tell you they got nothing. They got nothing on us. They can't arrest me anymore because I know how this reality works, and I know how freedom works. And there's so much more depth to what me and Liz have experienced over the last few months that I will be sharing with you, from which you can learn a lot. And it took everything for me to face that truth, because it was a trauma that I experienced when I was 17 years old. I had an encounter with the police, and that traumatized me. They traumatized me. And that trauma was still stuck in my subconscious. And in order to be healed and further accelerate my awakening, that trauma needed to be re-triggered again. So when the trauma is in the subconscious, it is solid. And when the trauma is triggered again, is re-triggered again, then the trauma moves from a solid state into a liquidized state, a liquefied state. And when it is liquefied, you can dissolve it and eliminate it. And it becomes the source of your greatest strength. Which is why, being threatened with prison, I healed that trauma inside of me and that fear. And now it serves as the greatest gift to tell mankind that we can be free. They've got nothing on us, and we don't have to be afraid of anything but fear itself. However, we need to ask ourselves the question, would I give everything for the truth? I tell you, it pays off. Face those fears. And at the other side of that process is freedom. And I'm ruthless now. I'm ruthless with evil, okay? Which is actually the divine masculine principle. And this is the healing from the naivete that's been humanity's downfall. The other side of naivete is being ruthless with evil. I'll blow your lights out. Again, I would never use violence because I don't have to, because I'm free. Don't have to use violence. I don't even have to own a gun. I used to think the Second Amendment was important for self-protection and all that, but I now understand the game at a much higher level. I am the gun. I am the danger to the control system because I'm free. And it is because not only do I have the emotional intelligence, as I said at the beginning, dive deep into the waters, however, I also balance that feminine expression with the masculine expression of the energy of the source, which is ruthlessness. You have to be ruthless with evil. I'll blow your lights out when you want to deceive me or mankind. That's why nothing and no one is coming close to me, and I'm free. The art of war, okay? Know the enemy is fundamental, one of the fundamental principles of Gnosticism, modern Gnosticism, that I'm dedicated to bring back to humanity, to mankind. It's the art of war, and it's pure wisdom, knowing that every battle is won before it is ever fought. This is what I do. I solve all of the situations only with intelligence, with natural intelligence. Then I never have to go into battle. I never have to take any risk because I've already won the battle before I even fight. That's the natural intelligence of forces of ultimate power. And the cult agenda, okay, the cult, which is actually at the highest level run by a priest class, okay, that are priests of the old religion of Satanism, that has, to my knowledge, existed on this planet and has had a foothold on this planet for thousands of years, and according to many sources, and I can mention here The Secret Teaching of All Ages by Manly P. Hall, I think, wrote it. It goes back to ancient Egypt and the black magic that came in at the time, and it also goes right back to Atlantis, also Atlantis and Lemuria, of which we know, for example, from Errol Kaya, who, according to my level of knowledge, is a high priest of Satanism, the highest level of it globally. The cult agenda is all about control, and it goes way back into Atlantis also. And Errol shared also on the videos here, that the ring that he carried was a ring of Atlantis. So is that ring possibly the reason why he was so difficult to detect and really know that he was actually deceiving people? I mean, I lived with that guy. I split with him once, then came back together with him again in November, and the guy lived with me, and since then I've not heard anything from him, although he's in London and he's doing a survival course now with people. He hasn't felt the need to come back to his so-called friends here, because we weren't his friends from the beginning, because he served the other side. And the cult agenda is often being presented as, oh, it's the bankers and they control the financial system, and through that they control the corporations. However, what is it really about? We're being presented this picture of these criminal bankers controlling the world, but ultimately what the cult agenda is really all about is not only the control, that is a very general term to use, but it is actually the control of your perception. You hold the key. You listening to this, not only me, it's not only me that holds the key, you hold the key too. And it's time now. When I speak about the truth, the single most important truth that I have to share with you is you have to take back control over your perception. This is what this live stream is all about. However, just like the Matrix cannot be shown to you, you have to see it for yourself. You have to do that yourself. It is just a kind reminder from me to do that. This is the ultimate test that we are here to pass, is we have to take back control over our mind. We have to control our own mind, otherwise we are under mind control by external forces. So how big is the bubble? Do you really want to know how deep it goes? How deep the rabbit hole goes? And yeah, I like to point out here, we've got Neville Meads, same old material and ramblings. Well, how about you leave? What's the problem, man? What's up, man? I do what I want, alright? It's called freedom. Oh, goodness. So how big is the bubble? Back to the point. I just like to point that out quickly, that comment. Really makes me laugh. Well, you think that's gonna stop me? Oh, good job. Yeah, go on. No, I'm unstoppable, guys. I'm unstoppable. I'm just getting started. That was all a warming up to this point. I'm 32 years old. I've just gotten started. Well, you're coughing your lungs out, dark occultist. You're coughing your lungs out because you can't keep up, can you? Yeah, it's just only started. And I do mean it when I say this is your end. So how big is the bubble? Okay? Because control of your perception directly links into the control system. And the most lethal agents of the control system are actually where you least expect them to be. We really need to open our minds to possibilities. And again, I'm not here to tell anyone what to think. I'm just sharing my intel with you because I have had it. I have had enough with mankind being deceived. This is my family. My family, my blood family, extends to all of mankind on this earth. Every brother is my brother. Every sister is my sister. Every mother is my mother, as well as every father is my father. It's one family of mankind. And I don't let anyone continue to deceive my family. I will take responsibility and courage and move forward, exposing the ones who do serve evil. And in that, I'm actually a whistleblower. I only came to realize this as I was putting together the slides of this presentation. In actual fact, I'm blowing the whistle here. I'm blowing the whistle, yeah. And I'm fully going for it. This is just the beginning. I'm going to have much more intel. I had to take things out of here because I can't just keep going for 5 hours. You know? There's a tsunami of information coming your way. It's time for the truth. Yeah. And I'm blowing the whistle on the alternative community. And it's a great honor to do that because, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters here at the Gnostic Takeover, there is a war going on the great work. And it has been going and waging in the unseen for a very, very long time. And with the exposition here in the slides, on this live stream here, I'm making the war visible because it is only the enemies of life and the agents of evil, of the field of Wetico, of this artificial Wetico matrix construct, the agents that serve it, you are at war with the truth. That's why there is a war on the great work, but you cannot stop it. And I will blow the lid on it. This is just the beginning, and I'm coming for all of you. This is the reckoning. This is the time of truth. You better have explanations for the deception that you've put mankind under. And I experienced this directly. As I say, I'm blowing the whistle here because I'm speaking from direct experience. I was on the show right now with Gareth Icke, where I was asked to give an update on Austria because Austria is imposing the forced V on its population. Oh my God. It never happened. It never happened. They took it back. Yeah, why? Because of, partly, I would strongly suggest there's a lot of credit coming my way that this has never happened, because I don't even have any idea how impactful my information and the work that I do really is. I don't know that. However, I feel it has a strong effect on things. Measuring it by the level of attacks I've been under and the many agents that were sent into my life to control me. You know how many agents there are left now? 0. And I've had at least 10, I could name you right now, sent my way trying to stop me, when in actual fact they were only educating me to serve my purpose here on earth. And I went on Gareth Icke's show right now, giving an update on Austria, and he was asking me questions like, so how do the people of Austria feel about being forced this treatment? Well, how do you think they fucking feel, Gareth? Do you think they'll feel anywhere different in Lithuania? Or in Belarus? Or in Jamaica? Do you think they'll feel any different? And I came with the real information, and I told them on there, we're in St. Corona here right now. The picture you can see here, actually, is where I'm sitting in the freaking dining room in the house of hell in a place called St. Corona, where I took down the high priest of Satanism. You want to know why I speak without fear? Because I took on these guys who always want to stay in the background because they're cowards. You listening to this? You are a coward. They're nothing. And I'm sharing all of it with mankind. It's out of your control. We did ayahuasca and datura ceremonies there in St. Corona. And we lifted the lid on the corona. The crown, the crowning of humanity that's going to happen. Which is part of the Gnostic takeover, is the crowning. So I was on that show and I never got invited back on there again. I was on there twice inside a week. And Gareth just went off the air, didn't even say goodbye, just left. And I never ever heard from them again. Which made me wonder. And then, I think it was when was it? It must have been in January. Was it in January? It must have been in January when David Icke went on London Real again with Brian Rose. I think it was part 6 of the interview series. The Vindication, David Icke. And I'm speaking about David Icke and naming him directly one day after his birthday. He had his birthday yesterday. How do I know that? Because it just so happens that I studied David Icke's work for many, many years. 9 years. I still have a book here right now next to me, Perceptions of a Renegade Mind. Well, David, not a renegade, okay? I'm talking about perceptions of a maverick mind connected with the heart that you talk about. But again, it's not so much what I would say are placed agents of the control system. It's not so much what they say, it's more about how they say it, how they frame it, and when you've got the eagle thunderbird vision, you look at what they do not say and talk about. So he gets let off with criticism because, yeah, David talks about the heart and the heart being the solution, and that's the same as I say, yeah. Heart anchor intelligence is natural intelligence, is the only solution to all of the world's problems, yeah. But we have to dive deep into the waters to see what's really going on. And I just got it just hit me instantly. It's like, vindication? And they were making David to be this incredible hero of being vindicated because he had told the world all along, since 30 years, that a control system, they want to set up a control system like it was portrayed in 1984. And I was like, well, that's strange. What bloody vindication do you need for that? Wouldn't you want to be vindicated about the freedom of mankind, which is all what I would be doing? Like, I don't even want a vindication. All I want is glory and freedom. But I picked up on things, and then it all started to unravel in this. I have to switch and move gears because otherwise I speak for 5 hours. I got this from an article yesterday on davidicke.com with his 70 years. Like, if someone knows about David Icke's work, okay, it's me, because I've been studying his work for 9 years. Many books I even read twice. I took notes, and there's lots of good information there. However, it's still a fly trap. It keeps people in a bubble of perception. And in actual fact, he is a master hypnotist. It's hypnosis. And in one of the interviews with London Real, and it was quoted also in an article yesterday about David Icke turning 70, it was on davidicke.com, where you can read it. He said in one of the interviews with Brian Rose that the spell has been broken. Very early with the whole COVID scam, when it kicked in, he was talking about that the spell has been broken. And he continued on, the cult has broken cover with the implementation and moving ahead with the implementation of the control agenda with COVID-19. With COVID-19, the cult has broken cover. It's walked into the room where we can see it, and the door has clicked behind it. We're now in a different game. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is that I've realized, and I've not heard anyone speak about this, that David Icke's role has really shifted ever since 2020 with COVID-19. And I'm pointing this out to people that he has changed ever since this happened. And we can now see why David was placed in there and why I would strongly suggest he works directly for the intelligence agencies and serves as a master hypnotist for people in the awakening to keep them in a bubble and keep their perceptions under control. It's a different game that's being played now, and you need to pick up on that. People change. And there's a whole network of alternative media. Again, I'm not leaving anything uncovered. I'm not here to have new friends. What I'm sharing with you is possibilities and looking at things in a different way, which is always good for your perception. You can think I'm full of shit also in saying all of this. You're very welcome. I'm gonna speak it anyway. And the Icke connection, it is strongly linked also with the Alex Jones operation, which, I mean, goodness me, it's been a long time since I last entertained that. It's an obvious example of the being a sort of a net for people that break out of the mind control of the mainstream media and then entertain alternatives and alternative information sources. Alex Jones is a perfect example of the circus, the entertainment industry that most of the alternative media has turned into. It's an entertainment industry. And Icke is featured on there often, and I'm telling you, there's much, much more to it. There is a network of alternative media, and there is an empire with an armada of agents placed in the alternative media, well-known names, well-known figures established in the so-called alternative movement that you would never think are part of the control system. It's an empire with an armada of agents placed specifically to program your perception of reality. Now you would think, I've totally lost it, I'm totally over the top, I'm paranoid or whatever. Possibly. However, I'm going public with this for a very specific reason. Because I actually know this to be the truth. Everyone make up their own mind if that really is so, but there's more to this, okay? Let's put this into perspective, okay? What I'm doing anyway, okay? What I'm doing is I'm doing freedom. This is it's very simple. When you do freedom, you can only do freedom on the basis of the one and only truth that no one has any influence over, okay? And we need to put this into perspective that this is about taking back our Earth. What makes us think that there's not a much bigger game going on, a multi-dimensional game with many nets placed for the truth to not come out? It is very, very, very much possible that Earth is a sort of diamond. A very, very, very significant place in this universe and possibly also throughout the multiverse. We don't know, but it's very well possible that Earth is the epicenter of a much bigger battle taking place between good and evil, between the forces of evolution and forces of involution. And that the force of involution knows that there is an awakening taking place, and therefore they would flood the industry, especially with the people that are truly heart-centered people who would make all the difference in this world. They would flood the industry of the alternative media and use information management, meaning information control. And what's the problem with pointing out that truth has to be the foundation of any true freedom movement? Truth that no one can influence. It is, and it will always be so. The one and only truth has to be the foundation. However, when things are true, you could get lost that these people are doing a good job and they're great and there's nothing wrong with them, when in actual fact you do not know them. I have encountered them. I have had interactions with them, which is the reason why I'm blowing the whistle. As soon as you start talking about Gnosticism and deep truth,